reflection. There comes a moment in life when you've done everything you could. You've worked hard, prayed hard, dreamed big, and yet nothing seems to move. Flexion. That's when you've got to do something most people don't understand. You've got to let go. Not because you've given up, but because you've grown up. Reflection. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop controlling. It means you stop trying to force what's meant to flow. Reflection. It means you trust that the right doors will open when the wrong ones close. See, sometimes we hold on so tight to things that we block our own blessings. Reflection. We hold on to people who've already walked out of our story, to jobs that drain our soul, to fears that chain our faith. And while we're holding on, reflection. God or life itself is trying to give us something better, something greater. But we can't receive it because our hands are full of what we refuse to release. Letting go is power. Reflection. It's peace. It's freedom. It's saying, I trust what's for me won't miss me. It's believing that even when things fall apart, maybe they're really falling into place. Reflection. So tonight, remember this. You don't lose when you let go. You rise. When you learn to let go, reflection, you begin to understand one of the deepest truths about life. That growth often feels like loss at first. Letting go doesn't mean you're weak or that you've stopped caring. Reflection. It means you've matured enough to realize that not everything and not everyone is meant to stay. Sometimes the things we fight hardest to keep are the very things holding us back from peace, reflection, progress, and purpose. We hold on because we fear change. We hold on because we don't want to face the silence that follows when something leaves our life. But in that silence, there is wisdom, reflection. In that emptiness, there is room for something new to enter. When you let go, you're not walking away defeated. You're walking away delivered. You're saying to yourself, reflection, I no longer need to carry what's not mine to fix. A growth requires space, space for new thoughts, space for new energy, space for new people who match the person you're becoming. Reflection, not the person you used to be. Yet so many people cling to the familiar because it feels safe. The problem is safety can also become a prison. Reflection, when you hold on to something just because it's comfortable, you deny yourself the chance to evolve. Maturity means understanding that peace is worth more than control. Reflection, it's recognizing that sometimes what you're fighting to keep is actually what's draining you. You start to realize that you don't need to chase, you don't need to beg. Reflection, and you don't need to force anything that's meant for you. Real love, real opportunity, real purpose. Those things don't require you to lose your dignity to hold on. Reflection, letting go is not about shutting the door in anger. It's about closing it in peace. It's about saying, thank you for what you taught me, but I'm moving forward now. When you do that, reflection, you rise above bitterness, above attachment, above the need to control outcomes. You begin to live in a state of surrender, not to weakness, but to wisdom. You start to see that your time, reflection, your energy and your spirit are sacred, and you will no longer spend them trying to make something work that clearly isn't meant to. That's not quitting, that's maturity. Reflection, that's the kind of strength that doesn't shout but shines. Because when you let go of what's holding you back, reflection, you don't lose anything that's real. You simply make space for everything that's meant to be. We live in a world that glorifies control. From the moment we wake up, reflection, we are taught to manage every detail of our lives, to plan every step, to predict every outcome, and to force our way through obstacles. We believe that if we push hard enough, reflection, if we micromanage enough, if we manipulate enough, we can bend life to our will. But the truth is, control is an illusion. No matter how tightly you grip reflection, life has a way of reminding you that you are not the driver of every outcome. Storms come, people change, opportunities vanish, and circumstances shift in ways that are beyond your power. Reflection. But the deeper truth is that the tighter you try to control life, the more it controls you. You become a prisoner of your own expectations, trapped in anxiety, frustration, and disappointment. Reflection. Real power is not in holding everything in your hands. It's in letting go and trusting that the universe as a way of aligning things in your favor when the timing is right. Reflection. True peace begins the moment you accept that you cannot control everything, that some outcomes are beyond your reach, and that trying to force the impossible only steals your joy and energy. Reflection. When you stop forcing outcomes, you make room for clarity and for things to flow naturally. Doors begin to open that you didn't even know existed. Reflection. Opportunities show up in ways you couldn't plan or predict. People come into your life who bring exactly what you need, not necessarily what you thought you wanted. Reflection. Letting go of control does not mean surrendering to chaos. It means choosing to live wisely within the flow of life. It means being proactive without being desperate. Reflection. persistent without being pushy, and focused without being rigid. It means understanding that effort is important, but obsession is destructive. When you release the need to control, flexion, you allow yourself to see patterns and possibilities that were hidden while your mind was clouded by fear and force. You begin to act with intention, not with desperation, reflection, and your decisions come from clarity, not from panic. This is where true freedom lies, not in bending life to your will, but in aligning yourself with the natural rhythm of life, flexion, trusting that what is meant for you will find its way, even if it doesn't come on your schedule. The moment you embrace this reflection, life stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like a partnership. You stop fighting against currents you cannot change and start navigating with the wisdom of someone who understands timing, flexion, patience, and trust. Peace becomes your guide, not anxiety. Strength becomes your anchor, not force. And in that space of letting go, miracles start happening, not because you controlled them, reflection, but because you finally allowed yourself to be in the right place at the right time with the right heart. Many of us go through life holding on tightly to the past, to old hurts, old mistakes, reflection, old relationships, old dreams that never came true, as if keeping them close will somehow protect us. We carry grudges, regrets, and disappointments as if they are treasures, when in reality, reflection, they are weights that keep us from moving forward. Your hands are full of pain, fear, and attachment, and because of that, reflection, there is no room for the blessings that are waiting to come into your life. You cannot receive new opportunities, new love, new growth, reflection, or new experiences if you are still clutching what has already passed. Every time you try to hold on to something that's gone, you block the arrival of what is meant for you. The universe, reflection, or life itself does not punish you. It simply waits for your hands to open before delivering what is rightfully yours. Letting go is not easy. It requires courage, self-awareness, and trust, reflection. It requires the willingness to say goodbye to the familiar, even when it's uncomfortable. But the moment you release what no longer serves you, you create space for abundance to flow in, reflection. You begin to notice doors opening that you never even knocked on. People enter your life who uplift you rather than drain you. Flexion. Opportunities show up in ways that feel effortless because your energy is no longer tied up in resisting change or clinging to the past. When your hands are open, your heart is open, reflection, and your mind is clear, you can finally see what life has been trying to show you all along, that everything you need is waiting, but you must be willing to let go to receive it. Reflection. Holding on too long creates fear disguised as loyalty or hope disguised as obsession. We convince ourselves that if we don't hold on, we'll lose something important, but in reality, reflection. What is truly meant for us will never leave. Letting go is not about abandoning your dreams. It's about trusting that the right dreams will find their way to you at the right time. Flexion. It's about understanding that life is not about forcing outcomes, but about aligning yourself with the flow of possibility. And when you finally release your grip, flexion, you start to experience freedom, clarity, and a sense of purpose that you could never have while your hands were full. The space you create by letting go becomes the fertile ground for miracles, reflection, growth, and the blessings you've been waiting for all along. When you let go, you begin to understand that life doesn't work against you, it works for you. The obstacles you feared, reflection, the losses you mourned, the pain you carried, they were all shaping you, preparing you for what is next. And the beauty of it is, the moment you release the old, you make room for the new, reflection. And what comes is far greater than what you thought you were losing. Your ability to receive is directly proportional to your willingness to let go. And when that moment comes, reflection, when you finally unclench your hands and free your heart, you'll realize that everything you've ever wanted was waiting for you all along. Just behind the courage to let go. Flexion. Faith is born the moment you stop trying to control everything and start trusting in what you cannot see. Most of us live our lives constantly trying to predict, manipulate, and force outcomes. Flexion. Thinking that if we just work hard enough or push long enough, we can make life conform to our expectations. But real faith begins when you accept that you cannot see the full picture. Reflection. That life is bigger than your understanding, and that sometimes the timing of your blessings is not yours to command. Faith is not blind, it is courageous. It's saying, reflection, I don't know how this will work out, but I trust it will. And then stepping forward anyway. It requires patience when nothing seems to be happening, flexion, and strength when the world tests your resolve. Surrendering to faith does not mean you become passive or lazy. It does not mean you stop doing the work, the learning, or the growing. Instead, reflection, it means you put your energy into what you can control, your effort, your choices, your attitude, and release the rest to the universe. Reflection. It's about understanding that your struggles are not punishments, but preparations. It's about believing that every closed door, every disappointment, flexion, every delay is setting you up for something greater. Faith allows you to walk through life with confidence, not because you know the outcome, reflection, but because you trust that the outcome will be for your highest good. When you live in faith, fear begins to lose its grip. Flexion, you stop being consumed by the what ifs and the if onlys and start focusing on the what is, the opportunities, the lessons, reflection, and the guidance available to you in the present moment. Faith shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, from desperation to patience, from worry to wisdom. Flexion. It allows you to see that even when life seems uncertain or chaotic, there is a rhythm, a pattern of divine orchestration working on your behalf. Faith also teaches resilience. Flexion. When things don't go as planned, when setbacks occur, and when doors close unexpectedly, you learn to keep moving forward without losing heart. Reflection. You understand that the world does not owe you an explanation and that some answers will only come in hindsight. Living in faith means walking boldly into the unknown. Reflection, knowing that the unseen hand guiding your journey is more powerful than anything you can imagine. Reflection, it's in this space, this delicate balance between effort and surrender, that miracles happen, doors open, and life aligns in ways that logic and force never could. Flexion. Faith is not just belief, it is action rooted in trust, patience, and unwavering confidence that what is meant for you will never pass you by. The moment you embrace this kind of faith, flexion, you begin to see life differently. You stop obsessing over control, stop forcing outcomes, and stop resisting what is beyond your influence. Instead, you act with intention, move with purpose, reflection, and live with a sense of calm assurance. And it is in this calm, in this surrender, that life begins to unfold beautifully, naturally, and effortlessly. Faith becomes your compass, flexion, guiding you through uncertainty and showing you that the path to everything you've ever wanted often begins the moment you release the need to control it. Flexion. When you let go of attachment to outcomes, you begin to experience a clarity that was impossible while you were clinging to expectations. So often we confuse desire with destiny. Flexion. We think that if we chase a certain job, a particular relationship, or a specific path, that is the only way we will find fulfillment. Flexion. But life rarely follows the narrow lane we imagine for ourselves. When we are attached to a particular result, we blind ourselves to other possibilities that could be even better, reflection, more aligned with our purpose, and more abundant than we ever imagined. Detachment is not about giving up on your dreams, reflection. It is about freeing yourself from the suffocating weight of trying to control every detail so you can move with openness and receptivity. Detachment allows you to see life as it is, flexion, not as you fear it or hope it to be. When you stop clinging to what you think should happen, you begin to notice what is actually happening, the opportunities, the lessons, the people, reflection, and the paths that have been in front of you all along. You start to understand that life works in layers and rhythms that your mind cannot always predict, flexion, and that forcing an outcome often results in frustration, stress, and missed blessings. By releasing attachment, you open yourself to wisdom, intuition, and synchronicity, flexion. You begin to act not out of desperation, but out of alignment. Your decisions become clearer because they are no longer clouded by fear or obsession. Detachment also teaches patience. Flexion, it allows you to walk through life with calm assurance, trusting that what is meant for you will arrive at the right time and in the right form. You no longer feel the need to rush, force, flexion, or manipulate situations. Instead, you learn to flow with life, making room for unexpected opportunities and outcomes that surpass your imagination. When you detach, flexion, you discover that life has a way of orchestrating events perfectly, even when it doesn't look the way you planned. You realize that setbacks and delays are not punishments, flexion, but redirections guiding you toward the path you are truly meant to walk. In letting go of attachment, you also elevate your energy, flexion. You stop wasting mental and emotional power on controlling things beyond your reach. You start focusing on what you can influence, your mindset, your effort, flexion, your attitude, and that focus brings greater results than any amount of force or insistence ever could. Detachment allows you to live with more grace, more freedom, and more joy, flexion, because you are no longer a prisoner of outcomes or expectations. Instead, you are a participant in life, fully present, fully engaged, reflection, and fully open to receiving all the blessings that are available to you. Ultimately, detachment creates direction. By releasing your grip on what you think must happen, flexion, you open the door to what actually will happen, opportunities, relationships, and experiences that are perfectly aligned with your growth, your purpose, and your happiness. Flexion, you stop chasing life and start moving with it. You stop fearing loss and start embracing abundance. And in this space of detachment, you find freedom, clarity, reflection, and a sense of purpose that allows you to step confidently into the life you were always meant to live. Letting go is the ultimate act of courage, flexion, because it requires you to release what is familiar, even when it feels safe, and trust in what is unknown, even when it feels uncertain. The moment you unclench your hands and your heart, flexion, you step into a space of freedom and possibility that cannot exist when you are holding on too tightly. Flexion, life often teaches us that the heaviest burdens we carry are the ones we refuse to release, burdens of anger, disappointment, regret, fear, and attachment. These weights drain our energy, reflection, cloud our judgment, and limit our ability to move forward. But the instant you release them, you rise above the limitations you've been carrying, reflection, and you step into a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your purpose. When you let go, flexion, you begin to understand that the universe, or life itself, does not operate according to your timetable. It moves in its own rhythm, and when you stop trying to force things, reflection, you allow the natural flow of blessings to reach you. Opportunities appear that you could not have predicted, relationships unfold that you never expected, reflection, and solutions present themselves that you could not have manufactured. The act of letting go clears the fog of doubt and opens your eyes to the possibilities that were always around you. Flexion, you start to see that what you release is not loss, but the clearing of space for what you are meant to receive. Letting go also transforms your inner world. It dissolves fear and worry, reflection, replacing them with peace and confidence. When you stop resisting, you stop exhausting yourself with mental and emotional strain. Flexion, you begin to live from a place of clarity and strength rather than anxiety and desperation. Your energy is no longer tied to the past or to outcomes you cannot control. It is free to create, flexion to grow, and to attract what truly belongs in your life. You begin to move with purpose rather than push with force, and your presence alone becomes magnetic to opportunities, people, reflection, and experiences that resonate with your highest self. Furthermore, letting go reveals the power that has been within you all along. It is not in controlling, clinging, reflection, or forcing outcomes that you find strength. It is in the ability to trust, to surrender, and to release. Every time you let go, reflection, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you imagined. You prove that your worth is not defined by what you hold on to, flexion, but by the courage you show in releasing what no longer serves you. You step into a higher vibration of life where abundance, love, success, reflection, and joy flow naturally to you because you are no longer blocking them with resistance or fear. The act of release is not passive, it is powerful. Flexion, it is a declaration to yourself that you are ready for what is next, that you are worthy of the blessings waiting for you, and that you trust life enough to step out of fear and into faith. Reflection, when you let go of what weighs you down, you rise higher than ever before. You see that everything you've been chasing, everything you've been longing for, flexion is not lost. It is simply waiting for you to create the space to receive it. In letting go, you do not fall, you soar. And the moment you realize this, flexion, you understand that letting go is not the end of the story, but the beginning of everything you've ever dreamed of. So, my friends, hear me clearly, flexion. Letting go is not weakness. It is strength. It is not surrender. It is power. Every time you release the fear, the doubt, the grudges, reflection, the what if is, you make room for life to deliver what is truly meant for you. Everything you've been striving for, everything you've been praying for, reflection, everything you've been dreaming of begins to arrive the moment you unclench your hands, open your heart, and trust the process. Remember, life moves in its own time. Flexion and blessings often come disguised as endings. What you think is a loss may very well be a gain. What you fear letting go of may be exactly what's keeping you from your breakthrough. So release, reflection, trust, flow, step boldly into the unknown with faith that what is for you will never pass you by. And as you do, you'll discover a truth more powerful than anything you've ever held on to. Reflection. The moment you let go, you rise. You rise into freedom, into clarity, into purpose, into peace, and into everything you've ever wanted. Your life, your destiny, flexion, your dreams, they are waiting for you, but they can only come when you finally let go. Stand tall. Open your hands. Release your fears. Flexion. And watch how life unfolds in ways greater than you ever imagined.